Have you ever thought to yourself, I wish I could be a dynamic speaker? What are the tips and what are the areas that I need to work on that can make me more powerful, more persuasive and more impactful? Well, one of the key areas that you can be more impactful is how you open your presentation. And it's been known that if you open your presentation with boring, dull information, then you've already switched your audience off. So today, in this video, I'm going to share with you some of the areas that I share with the clients I work with that they found work super, and they fed back to me that it was great. So I'm sharing some of that with you today. So the question is, I have a presentation, how do I start? So an easy one is, how do you introduce yourself? If there's an MC there, they might do that for you. But if not, you've got to clearly be able to say, I'm Sheena Walker. I specialise in performance by design. And I work with individuals and senior exec to actually deliver world-class training programs and presentation skills. And today I'm going to share with you how you can learn some of these skills. Now that's an introduction. So you've got to think about how you might do that, who you are, what you specialise in, and what you're going to share with them. So that's number one. So the next one, number two, is you can start with a story. And this is quite a nice one. I've never really done this a lot myself, but I've been teaching people to do that in the last year with great results. People are fascinated by stories. Having said that, I told one yesterday, and it went like this. I was lying in a field 10 foot in snow in a field of cows, having just gone 7 miles down the ski slopes. It was my first day and I was just learning. And I'd like to share with you, I'd been given 15 minutes of instruction from a friend. Let me ask you, in your organisation, do you give somebody 15 minutes training and expect them to be super and an expert? Today I'm going to share with you how you can have tools and tips and techniques that you can teach your employees to be more experienced, have more knowledge, so that they don't go 7 miles an hour and land just like I did in a shambles in a field. You don't want a shambles in your organisation. So that's telling a little story. And then you go on to speak about the best ways to learn. So the third one I'd like to speak about is the one I really like. And the third way to start, which is really good, is you ask the audience a question. Asking a question related to getting their agreement. And it might go something like this. What is it that successful people do differently? Is it they're great at improved productivity? They're great with their performance? What is it successful people do different? Is it they've got great habits? Well, today we're going to focus in on great habits. And I'm sure that you will find that as you move into another year, that having new habits would just be what the doctor ordered. Would you agree with me? Yes or no? So that is a way to ask a question, so a rhetorical question. What's in the audience's mind? What is it that they're thinking about? The next one I'd like to speak about is this one a couple of doctor friends of mine use, is they ask logical questions when they've got young doctors or they're speaking about surgery. And they might ask a question related to a statistic that's actually maybe not known, but he's going to tell them anyway. Did you know that the 32% of children in schools are obese? And then he would go on, what if today I share with you where these statistics came from? So that would be a good question for a clinical person to use. And statistics are quite good for people that are doing research in education, academia, at the university. But they're very good for stating a point because it's evidence-based research. The next area that is really great for starting, and I like this one, it's thinking about something about you that's unique, that fits into the audience's world. And sometimes I've started off by saying, as I looked at the athletes on the podium, I could feel right here in my heart and reflect when I stood on a podium. Have you ever thought that having podium success in your business is a little bit like being an athlete? You're aiming for gold star, not the bronze or silver, although that's welcome, but you're aiming for the gold. That's always what I aimed for when I was a swimmer and a national coach and went to Special Olympics as the manager. So what I've actually done there is I've demonstrated a unique way that they might want to listen to me because I've been involved in sport and I have a different slant in how I share sport can be applied to the business world. So you can do that too if you have a unique hobby or something unique that you've done that you can transfer that skill. Another way that you can start, and I know I don't usually give people more than 2 or 3 ways to start because, as in my previous video, if you tell people too many topics or too many things, they go, oh, Sheena, you've lost me. But I think these are fairly straightforward. You can follow my logic that I'm giving you different ways to start your presentation. Another way that's quite good is that I don't do this. I find this boring, but lots of speakers use it. And that is, you tell them what you're going to be speaking about today when you come on. Today I'm going to be speaking about, and that's quite good again if it's academia. Sometimes you've got to spell things out quite clearly when it's academia, that today we're speaking about international students from China and looking at the curriculum for development. And we're going to look at 3 areas. How we can improve their English, how they can use technology, and how they can speak globally across the world. So I'm going to be talking to you about that. So that's quite a good way if you're in that setting. But generally, I would not always use that, but you might find that quite helpful. Sometimes using that, telling them what you're going to speak about, some people have that up on a slide. I teach my customers, my clients, to speak without notes or using slides too much, but it can be helpful to have your title up and your 3 aims that you're going to speak about. That gives you a great starting point. I hope you're still with me. The other area that I quite like is setting up a challenge, setting up maybe a problem that you've had in your that's quite common in organisations. So one I used quite recently was, today I know I'm speaking to new managers who are finding staff challenging in their performance. Another rhetorical part added on to that is, what if today I shared with you some tools, tips and guidelines that you can use in your performance management that might make a difference to you. So I've addressed it as they're managers, they're new in the role, and they're experiencing challenges with staff. So you can use that too. And then you go on to say, so the 3 areas that I'm going to speak about will be recruitment and selection, having the right people in the right place at the right time, and maximising people's performance. So I've stated it at the beginning, then I've said the 3 areas within a little summary, then I speak about it. It's quite easy, isn't it? In fact, it's not just easy, I'm making it quite simple for you. The next area is, and I quite like this, is how do you make people laugh? Now, some people tell really the wrong type of jokes and humour, and I don't always think it's a good idea to open with too many jokes, especially if you're working in a university, in the business world, academia, financial, accountants, then that might not go down too well. But if you've got something that's can sound a little bit witty, when I explained it earlier on about going down the mountain 7 miles per hour and landed in a field of cows, by the way, that's actually true. And I was quite upset that I lost my skis and my poles and my gloves. And I thought that I was going to learn to ski in the first day. And I actually then, I've relayed this, one Snow Patrol, not Snow Patrol the band, came along and asked me, "Excuse me, miss, why are you lying there?" I was a bit rude. I can't repeat it here. I said, "I am actually blank blank waiting on a bus." Now, I was lying in 10 foot of snow. What did he think I was doing there? And of course, when I started my presentation, that got lots of laughs. So I've actually given you, I think, probably about 10 different ways that you can start your conversation, and your conversation or your presentation or in the boardroom. One I didn't give you is that I think is quite good is using a case study. And as you start to open, you can actually say, "I've just come from the university and I had an interesting day. Would you like to hear about it? Can I share with you what I found today working with my students?" And you would maybe do 1, 2, 3 areas that you found. And it would be a genuine, real case study. So you would maybe choose your opening depending on who your audience was. A case study is great for showing business people what you can do for them and that you're already doing that. So I'm going to say bye for now. My challenge to you now is go and write out the opening to your presentation based on your specialised topic and what you'd like to speak about in the new year. Bye for now.